Well, this isn't going to be a fun video to make. Hello everyone and welcome back. I hope you enjoyed my Premier League predictions video. If you watched it, if you didn't watch it, go back, have a look at that. And then come and watch this one, which is going to be me having a big old rant about Saturday's game. If you're not a football fan and you're just watching it because it's me, pretty much Leeds lost 5-1, which is bad in any football match, but it's especially bad as we lost to one of, if not the fiercest rival of our club, Manchester United. And yeah, I think I'm just gonna say my thoughts on the game, having processed it now, as it was a couple of days ago. Say where I think it went wrong, what we could have done maybe. Yeah, there isn't really much of a plan for this video. It's just gonna be saying what comes to my head. Like I said, it's going to be pretty much a rant video, so if I repeat myself, there's not really a structure to the video. Before I get into my rant today, just can you please click the like button, click the subscribe button, do me a massive favour. It is free, it costs you absolutely nothing. Take it as your good deed for the day. Click the like button, click the subscribe button, it really helps me out more than you can even imagine. So thank you very much in advance, and here we go. The obvious thing, it was very similar in the 6-2 defeat last season. We lost it in midfield. We were completely overran. Fernandes and Pogba, for them, ran the show. I hate to say it, but they are just so many levels above, which you'd come to expect for the amount of money that they cost. They completely overran our midfield, they made space, they got away from their markers. For a couple of their goals, who was actually marking Pogba, because no one was really near him. Like, it was like he had the whole pitch to play with and no one was even trying to get near him. Robin Koch was meant to be marking Bruno Fernandes in place of Calvin Phillips. He just really struggled, didn't he? We really missed Calvin Phillips. We miss Calvin in any game that we play that he isn't playing in. But this one especially. You look at the draw against them at Elland Road last season. Calvin didn't give Bruno an inch of space, and Bruno did really struggle in that game to create anything. To not bring Calvin on, I think, was good. We shouldn't risk him. I think by the time that we would have brought him on, the game was done, so there was no point risking him. Save him, let him get up to full match fitness. Koch at centre defensive mid in that pivot role wasn't great. Last season, when he did play there a couple of times, he looked decent there, with centre-back obviously being his natural position. So maybe it was just... So I don't know whether that was just a poor one-off game for him, being up against an incredible player in Bruno Fernandes. Do we go and buy a cover centre defensive mid for Calvin Phillips? No, I don't think we do. Not yet anyway, maybe next season. Phillips is just so integral to our system and the way that we play. I think anyone that we got in would struggle for a while, just because of how important that one position is. Like we always see, if we bring in new players and they don't get the full pre-season, they seem to struggle. I mean, Rafinha is an exception, but you look at Rodrigo, he didn't get a full pre-season, did he, last season? Llorente didn't get a full pre-season. He was good, but he did have a lot of injuries. I don't know if that was linked with it. So I think we just need to hope and touch wood, every single bit of wood around me, that Calvin stays injury-free this season, because he is just so integral and important to the way we play, and he is one of the best in the league at that role, which is why people want to sign him. We have had... On the Square Ball podcast, Angus said that people had inquired about Calvin this summer, as well as Bamford and Dallas. Leeds don't want to sell him. We don't need to sell him. But he is one of the best in the country. And he proved that playing for England at the Euros, playing every single game for them. Before the Euros started, he wasn't in anyone's starting 11 other than Leeds fans. And other fans would say that's just a Leeds bias, but Leeds fans would say, no, it's because we know how he plays. We know how good he is. And Gareth Southgate saw that and played him in every single game. And he was solid. He really was. But yeah, I don't think we buy a centre defensive mid just yet. I'm sure Koch will get more used to playing in that position if Phillips is off. We've tried Strike there. It doesn't work. I think he's gonna stay at centre back now, which is good because he is a decent young centre back. I do think we need another centre midfielder though, which I said in the previous video in the Premier League predictions. Rodrigo wasn't great in that position. I've never really been convinced by him in that position unless it's against like a poorer team where he can just play. He seems to need to play as a striker because that is his position. He is a striker. But Bielsa pretty much sees Bamford as irreplaceable. And after last season and the season before in the Championship, you can see why. And I've even today seen rumours that Tottenham want Bamford as a replacement for Harry Kane. It's not going to happen because he's going to sign a new contract in the next few days, I believe. So yeah, the midfield was a problem. And although we did miss Calvin Phillips in that game, I really do think we missed Diego Llorente. Last season when he started to get a solid run in the team was when we were a lot more solid defensively, like in that second half of the season, January onwards. His experience just seems to calm the defence down. Whoever is playing with at centre-back, he seems to calm them down. He knows what he's doing. He has just been incredibly unlucky with injuries last season and in pre-season this season. So hopefully he's not out for too much longer because I really do think when he's in the team, we're a lot more solid, we're a lot more stable. And I can't wait to see him back in that centre defence. Whoever he's partnered with, whether he's partnered with Koch on the left-hand side, whether it's Cooper, whether it's Struijk, whether Charlie Creswell starts to emerge into the team. But that's another thing, Bielsa often plays a right-footed centre-back and a left-footed centre-back. And against Man United, it was two left-footers. You had Cooper and Struijk. And that was because Koch was playing at centre defensive mid and Llorente was out. Striker at centre defensive mid didn't really work last season. So there wasn't really any other options other than if we brought Ayling into centre-back. And we had Ayling and Cooper or Ayling and Struijk. And then at right-back, maybe Jamie Shackleton. But Luke Ayling is so much better when he plays as a right-back. And when we do go to three at the back, when they play two up top, we miss Ayling down that right-hand side. And whilst we're on the topic of Luke Ayling, I guess we do need to talk about his goal. Probably the one good thing about that game. It was the best goal in the game, in my opinion. Call me biased, but I don't care. It was, in my opinion, the best goal in the game. An incredible strike from outside the box. And it's just gonna get forgotten about purely because of the result. It deserves to be appreciated because of the goal and because it's Luke Ayling, because we all love Luke Ayling. He's an incredible player, he's an incredible character. But yeah, it was an awful start to the season. Like, it was just the one thing that we didn't want to happen this season, other than getting relegated, was to be absolutely battered by scum at their place again, just like last season. Every time, it seemed at least, every time that they had a shot, it went in, which shows their quality in attacking, because I love a good stat. Their XG was, I'll put a screenshot here because I'm not sure exactly what it was, but it was 1 point something. That just shows how clinical they were to score 5 when they only really should have scored 1 or 2. This game is just gonna start the talks of second season syndrome again, which is a load of rubbish. I said it in the last video again, I'm just repeating myself now, that I don't think anyone had said second season syndrome ever until Sheffield United happened last season. We're not going to get relegated. We might finish in the bottom half of the table. As long as it's not too far bottom, I'd be happy with it. If we finish between 12th and 8th, I'd say that's realistic, because we're not going to go down, and to go with that, we don't burn out either. It was just a crap performance from start to finish. The Bielsa burnout is a myth at Leeds United. Pundits need to do their research, look at the stats, and do your job properly, Joe Cole. Saying that, oh, Leeds tend to die after 70 minutes. That's just not true. It just isn't true. Like, we press from start to finish. Yes, we have little breaks in the game where we don't press as much. Sometimes we do let them have the ball, in an ideal game anyway. We do just let the other team have the ball for a bit. but they rarely do anything with it. They just often pass it around the defence and midfield. We just have a little breather for 5-10 minutes, maybe towards the end of the first half. But then we just go again. We take the ball off them and press them again. LUFC Lewis did an amazing video on the Bielsa burnout myth. It was a big old rant. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to go and watch it. I completely agree with everything he said on that. But yeah, it was just an awful start to the season. Did the players get overwhelmed by the occasion and the atmosphere? I wasn't there, so I don't know what the atmosphere was like in the ground. The majority of the Leeds players have never played in a full stadium in the Premier League before. So did they get overwhelmed by it? I don't know. That's something that only they'd know, but obviously they'd never admit that they got overwhelmed. So who knows? We move on to the next game against Everton at Elland Road, where there'll be just under 40,000 Leeds fans cheering them on. We'll move on, we'll forget about it, and hopefully it'll be a better result against Everton, which I'm sure it will be. So thanks very much for watching. I am off to watch the Leeds under-23s at Selhurst Park against Crystal Palace tonight. Hopefully there'll be a better result there. We'll get to see some of the young players, some that were on the bench. Obviously you had Greenwood and Somerville on the bench. I can't wait to see them make their full Leeds debut and break into the team. Adam Forshaw will get a couple of minutes as well on his way back. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you next week with my reaction to the Everton game.